We just do banking.
Yeah.
You know, we don't do anything fancy.
Our reputation as a community bank preceded us, and people knew when they came to town, they'd ask where you want to bank. The realtors say, you need to go down to First National. He and I were here our whole career. I mean, people knew that we were First National Bank. So I was about to graduate. This was, I guess, the spring of '71, and there were no jobs then. I mean, I was afraid I was going to have to go back to hauling hay, but I didn't want that option. So my dad was in here, and he saw John Henry's dad, John S. Luton, and Mr. Luton asked him, he said, what's James going to do when he gets out of school? And my dad told us, I don't think he knows. And so Mr. Luton said, well, tell him to come see me, you know. So I came to see him, and about 2 weeks later, I went to work here. Been here ever since.
I didn't realize what James was talking about. There weren't no jobs. And I finally found one in South Texas, a little town called Bishop. Working in a bank. I kind of wanted to see if I liked it. If I didn't like it, I didn't want to flame out at home. And stayed down there about 1.5 years, and had a really good time. I just wasn't making any money, you know. And wandered back when they started needing a little more help, so I wandered back this way, and like James, been here ever since. When we started, you learned how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
We get here about 8.
Get here at 8 o'clock, you know, and of course, suit and tie.
Yeah.
And you get the drawers out and get ready to open up the day and open the mail. And there's always bank by mail envelopes come in and correspondence. And we'll get our correspondent bank account statements, I guess, by mail. I don't remember how we got them then, but there's stuff behind the scenes that have to be done. And then, of course, you open up and here come customers and you deal with them across either the teller counter or the loan desk or whatever. Go ahead.
Then once you close, then you take your tie off and count or file or what. I mean, you just everybody finds it. What do you say? Grab a root and growl. You just find something to do and do it.
There's always something to do
Till it's all done.
We closed it at noon then, for an hour for lunch when I first started working.
Really?
Yeah, we closed an hour for lunch because Mr. Swinson had to go watch Days of Our Lives. I mean,
He's not kidding.
No, I can't make that up. If we were a minute late, he was gone. Forget it. Yeah, I think that's a soap opera that he was watching anyway. But that's true. We took off at lunch. We worked every Saturday morning. Everybody worked every Saturday morning.
On Saturday, you had to balance again before Benny let you go home.
Yes.
You'd spend 1.5 hours looking for 15 cents.
Yes.
I'm not kidding.
No, he's not kidding. Yeah.
I let somebody here.
Yeah.
I gotta go home, man.
No kidding. We balance now. Yeah, that's so true. I remember that. Yeah.
The discussions on opening those branches, what led to that?
I'll let John Henry tell the first one about the 377. You remember?
Yeah, there was some local politicians that wanted to close. They were going to build a new bridge over the lake, and they wanted to just close that road for 2 or 3 years. And of course, they had a branch in Acton already. So my dad sold the bank about 1 acre of land, and we built the branch out there on 377 as quick as we could. And all of a sudden, they didn't need to tear the bridge down. So that's how it started.
Yeah. That was our first venture, and then we just kind of saw where the population was heading and built 144 and Acton, Pecan, Toller, you know. Well, as far as highlights, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is highlights of the bank, you know, like how we've grown and everything. I can remember when we first hit $10 million in total assets, we had to go buy all new 10 key add machines And they were $500 a piece back then, and our old cashier, Mr. Swinson, I thought he was gonna stroke out, but we haven't spent that much. Well, we couldn't operate because those old full keyboard adding machines would only go to 9,999,000, so.
It's like in a basketball game, if you hit 100 in,
Yeah,
back in the
you
day.
gotta start over.
Yeah.
Start over.
Reset.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one of the things I remember about that. And then of course we hit 100 million, and today we're looking at $1 billion, which is unthinkable. And then net profits, you know, the first year we made $1 million, we were so happy. I was like, oh man, we hit the big time now. Now we're 10 times that a lot of years. So it's incredible, the growth and how him and his family have contributed and helped us keep with it and keep good people here. I will say this, okay? When they hired me, I had no idea what was going on. I was green as a gourd, and I learned it all, almost, from the accounting side of it, but they never told me how to do it or what to do, and I was grateful for that because I thought I knew what I was doing, and I guess I did. If I didn't, I covered it up and started over. So, thank you, John Henry. Really, and his dad and mom, they were terrific.
Actually, there for a while, we kind of tried not to grow because there are thresholds that you go over that all the rules change as far as auditing and reporting and all this stuff, and we just didn't want jack with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of kept a thumb on it for a good while, and finally our thumb got weak and it took off, and they said, well, let's go. And
Let's go.
We just do banking.
Yeah.
We don't do anything fancy.
And
That's kind of scary that you
It is.
do that good, that plain.
I think simple is good in a lot of ways. People get, at least for me, I get so tired of things being so complicated. I want simple down, dumb down for me. But back to your question, did we pursue? We didn't really go out there and say, hey, we need to loan you some money. Come on, let me do this. They would come to us because our reputation, his reputation, his family, our reputation as a community bank preceded us, and people knew when they came to town, they'd ask, where you want to bank? The realtors say, you need to go down to First National. Kudos to the realtors. But
Tell us about the atmosphere at the bank here. What's it like?
We get work done really well, but we have a good time.
I think to me, you think of First National Bank, it's yes, you've grown, but yet you still maintain the family image there with your employees and also your customers. You treat them like family.
No, we treat them better than family.
yeah, you're right, John Henry.
But that's important, isn't it? To
John Henry's dad was that was one of his mottos, treat people like you want to be treated, and he did. And he was a character. John Henry's dad, I love that man. He had some of the greatest. One of my favorite sayings. I was always ragging him about having to pay income tax, and I'd bring my refund check in here, and ask him and say, did you file your return yet? Because I need to cash this, He would just chew me out. Anyway, he would say, well, about the IRS. They won't get it all. They'll just make you feel like they did. I love that story. It's so true.
Still.
First National Bank, in my mind, has always been the leader, one of the leaders, or at the forefront of sponsoring community events, community activities, leading the charge, and whatever this community needs, or people are down and out, if there's a fundraiser, or talk a little bit about that.
Well, back in the day, banks and car dealers were always the main targets for people looking for you to sponsor something or donate something, or because you're visible, and if you'd stayed in business, you were pretty successful, so maybe you had money, and but it's part. You're from here, you live here, that's just what you do, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
We used to sponsor everything from, bowling teams to Little League to, pirate football to on and on and on, everything, golf tournaments, Shriners, all that, and still do. And the list has grown, as you know.
Right.
And you have to budget that, because it can get out of hand. Because everybody wants to, well, we'll do that. But you do enough of that, and then you ain't got none of these.
What was your philosophy for treating employees and customers all these years?
He's already said it.
Treat them like you want to be treated. I mean,
Treat them like it's your grandma.
yeah. Go the extra mile for them. I mean, it doesn't take just a little bit of effort.
What do you think separates First National Bank from all the other banks in town?
People. That's it.
Definitely. People. He and I were here our whole career. I mean, people knew that we were First National Bank. And they could come to us whether they had a request or a problem,